What's up, guys? I'm Jake, back with Response on Play, doing Top Cut interviews. Today, I'm joined by...
Calvin Tahan, hey, how's it going?
Going good, man. What'd you end up playing for the event this weekend?
I was playing Chaos Godzilla. I ended up in top 4 finish, losing to Travis. But it was a great event. Very happy with my performance.
Yeah, top 4 is always good. How do you feel this event compares to any of the other events you've been to?
This is my 4th regional, I think. So I'm 2 for 4. I topped St. Louis last year with Albuquerque. So pretty happy with the turnout overall. But this is first time in Albuquerque or the state in general. But I thought it was a good event. Obviously I did very well, but I was just happy to be playing again. Really, like my only complaint of this game has been that I just can't play it, like that there just aren't that many events to play. So with this year's what's it called, play schedule or whatever that they announced, there are a lot of events to go to, this being the first one here in the US, and I'm trying to go to all of them. So I'm really happy that this is first of many. We've got Louisville next, and then I think Toronto after that, and then so it's gonna be great. But yeah.
So you planning on going to all of them, including Toronto?
I'm trying to go to all of them, yes. I mean, obviously with the exception, I'm not going to Australia next week or whatever that is.
Well, but, all the U.S. ones.
But yeah, for sure trying to hit, I mean, guaranteed going to go to all the ones here. Might even go to one in the UK. I'm looking at the October one. I think that might be feasible to go to. But I love this game. I just want to play. So that's all I care about.
Well, that's awesome. So you played Chaos Godzilla.
Yeah.
How'd you feel Chaos Godzilla stacks up to the current meta with obviously we saw 3 Nick Reagans in Top Cut, and the the Devil Jin still lurking in the shadows.
It's being a competitive player, historically from other card games coming here, kind of incentivized to play what you think the best deck is. And in this case, Nick Reagan clearly the best deck. So the entire month and a half of testing was just coping and finding ways not to play Nick. And it really just came down to the fact that I took an ethical, I don't think that as a competitive player, a season, I played many events. I come from the Yu-Gi-Oh scene, so I played dozens, hundreds of Yu-Gi-Oh events previous to this. And I don't think that there's a way to play Nick without cheating. And I'm not trying to shoot on everybody that played Nick or accuse them, but I truly don't think that you can sufficiently randomize a deck of that size. Certainly not in 8 rounds. You might try your best to shuffle it, but changing the order of cards is different than randomizing a deck, and I don't think that there is a real way to have done that. And so I didn't want to be, if I don't feel like my heart's in the right place playing a character, if I feel like I'm doing something wrong, I'm just not going to play it. So I disqualified myself from Nick. Therefore, I played what I thought would be the second or third best deck, and Godzilla. Godzilla had a great Nick matchup. He's can consistently just do 35 damage very easily. That was the most compelling reason. Was okay, what deck can actually kill Nick? And then is this possession well against the decks that like to flood people out and build deep into deadlock? The answer is yes, because you have the reset. It's just the perfect tournament deck, I think.
Yeah, Godzilla seems to keep finding good spots in the meta. Either it be through the reset tool or some not even using the reset tool.
Yeah.
Which is really cool for a competitive deck, especially one that came out of a Challenger Series deck. Being a very accessible character, in my opinion. Is there anything you thought about, any tech cards you were thinking about coming into this that maybe you brought up along in your sideboard, or that you figured, man, if they're playing this one specific card, that I'm just gonna have a day?
Yeah. The coolest card that I came up with was I don't even know the name of it because there's 8 cards with this name, but it's one of Gentle Criminals cards. It's the throw. I think it's called Gently Rebound, but it might be called Gently Theft, or it's not the flash one. So it's a throw. And its enhance is if this attack is not blocked, target bounce a foundation of your choice.
Yes.
So I played one of that in Zilla, just to you throw it out early in your string, and it kind of says your opponent has to block it, or I will bounce your only defense. But it's really cool because you get to attack backups with it, and enhance, and they're not allowed to block. So you not only kill the black up, take it to momentum, but you're also target bouncing anything you want and debuilding them. And that card was like crazy coming into this event. I mean, it just did so much work. And then that on top of what I thought would be open deck lists, kind of assuming that my opponents would see the throw and kind of throw them off their game. Didn't end up being the case because Cardio didn't get their technology together, so it was not open deck list. So even though I kind of built as if my opponent would know my deck, like I said, I won Genkai's, hoping that it would play around it, and then no one ever looked at it. So stuff like that. But I think that card for sure is like just probably the only true contribution I made to the character outside of just like optimizing the build, playing the cards everyone else plays.
That's actually an incredible tech card. I did not. I hadn't even thought about that as like a nice tool into some of the backup characters.
Yeah.
So give me through some of your earlier pre-top cut. What were some of the decks or some of the games that you played through somewhere that were some of the more memorable ones? Give me some of those and what were they like?
I played three Ghidorah, and historically I've never been able to beat that deck. It's like my white whale I get. Like I literally never had any shot of like I've lost many premier events to Ghidorah. Couldn't figure out how to do it. And this was the event that I labbed heavily, and I found like a way to consistently take off all three heads, which is what I did. So I played three of them, and obviously went undefeated in Swiss and topped. So that's how that went. But it's like to beat him is so like. This might be the only like. I'm not that good at this game compared to some of the other people you've interviewed. I come from different card games, so playing like a check-based game is like very different to me and still new. But like one of the things I've kind of been contending with is like how can I guess the only really good thing I'm good at is like beating Ghidorah. And it's as funny as it sounds, but it's like you really have to do it in a way that doesn't make sense. He's a six-hander, so he can only have 6 cards in hand, and most of the cards almost every card in the stage doesn't give him an advantage. He has the card that like clears a block and draws one. He has Botans to redraw. But like if he's got 6 cards, like that's the most he can have. He doesn't have like the Chaos Draw spam. So you can use the Godzilla to foundation, not even like ignoring the nuke entirely. You can use Shortly Promotion to be a 7-hander or an 8-hander, save those up, and then you can Titan Clip to sculpt into more blocks. You can save your fearsome transformations. So like you could build deep into Deadlock too. Like I built like 15, and then I just Titan Clipped, had a turn. I played like I think 10 attacks in one turn. He can only block 6, and he will block all 6, but that's literally all he can block. It's not possible for him to get more cards. So you just kill him with the other 2, and that's what happened. I just ended this string with Smashing Stomp, Smashing Stomp, Smashing Stomp, and they're all in 10s because Rampage makes them 10 base, and that's just 3 heads. And I did that every single time. And Ghidorah, most of the decks are built not to really have a cheese like WinCon in the long. Like they don't really have like inevitability. There's like the deck out build, and there's like some that play like a cool, powerful card, but like those cards only work if your opponent overextends. But if you just build like reasonably and you don't overextend and you just block their regular attacks, they can't do 34 ever. And you actually have inevitability over them as Zilla because you're playing a 10-hander. So once I figured that out, it became super free. But it took a long time. You have to like stat lines with like Titan Cliff. You have to like build the 1/6 AOT card that gives 1/1. Just to make her be 10 damage base, because all your attacks in Zilla are 9. Nothing takes a head, so like normally he's just allowed to take 9, and it says if you didn't hit him at all. So you really have to find a way to make everything be 10. So it's either that card or Rampage that you need to have. But it took a long time to figure it out, but once you do, it's kind of unlosable. So I was pretty happy with myself just for kind of cracking that one, because I've only ever lost to that deck before.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you put a lot of work in, and I think that would qualify to say that you are pretty good at this game. I mean, top 4, it's not easily done.
Right. Thank you.
I've gone to quite a few events. I've never top 4'd. So I think you definitely got what it takes to keep doing well. Is there anything about this event that you felt was either super fun, super cool? How'd you feel about the new pricing structure?
Right.
Just overall feelings about the event as a whole.
I didn't really have any bad experiences playing, and that is, not a criticism. That's like, I just want to play this game, and if I get to play the game, I'm having fun, having a good time. The event stat was super professional. The event was ran very smoothly. Rounds didn't go, way long. Like overtime was handled well. the turnout was what the turnout is. Like, we're in the middle of nowhere. Like, I'm happy this many people even came. But I loved the event. It was great. I can't wait to go to the next one. That's always going to be my take. The format was whatever. I'm happy that AOT3 wasn't legal because I don't think there would have been enough time to really digest it. The product was, I think shipment was probably the main reason, right? They didn't know that like they would be able to get the product to all the stores in time. And so like make an equitable thing where everybody could have a deck fully built. So I get it. And I like the fact that they shared that decision early. So we as players had time to test not with it. But outside of everything, obviously Nick Reagan should not be legal, but they banned VME, which I was very happy about, and they nerfed Tilgen, which I was very happy about. So it's rare that all your Christmas wishes get fulfilled, but 2 out of 3 was pretty, happy with that.
That's awesome. If there was one thing you could do, like if you could just wave a magic wand and change an event, either like ramp something up that you thought was cool, or like maybe something you thought was a little less cool, and take that away, what would it be? Now, this can be competitive. This can be side events. This can be the weather if you wanted it to be. This is it's your wish. You get to make it.
Well, I love the title belts. I started playing this game under 2 years ago. My best friend Ryan Levine started playing because he liked My Hero, and he went to like a demo day at like a local store that in our hometown. He in that time he topped a regional, and then got like invited to Worlds. So like within his first 6 months of playing, he went to Worlds. He's also from competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, just like I am. So he's a better player than I've ever been at that game, and maybe this game too. But seeing him do well in such a short time, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I want to play too. Like, so I went to demo day as well and learned the game, and started following Ryan to events. And the first time I went to Worlds because he had qualified. So I was like, my best friend qualified for Worlds, I'll go. So I went I think I was playing the game for like 2 weeks. So I didn't know the rules. I had like a Ryukyu deck because you like didn't need to read any cards because she was all vanillas. And I just played side events. But I saw like they were doing like a 3v3 title belt thing, and like a tag team event. I was like, that's so awesome. Like next year, I'm definitely going to get one of those. And he's like, dude, what are you talking about? Like you have to like win a team's event. I was like, I promise you next year I'm going to get one. And obviously a year later, I won the team's event at Nationals. I think that's the coolest thing. I think kind of leaning into the whole pro wrestling, like characters fighting other characters, like just like the MO of the game itself is just so appealing and awesome. Like I love that element of it. So more into that, I would love to see like, I don't have like a good table match. Like I just want to put someone through a table. That's all I want.
So Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Cage match.
Run it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, cage match, Nick Reagan. Like, let's go.
Just cage match.
Yeah.
The card or the person?
Doesn't matter.
Let's go. Yes. Yeah, we're pretty familiar with wrestling bits around the channel. We sometimes blather too far on about wrestling stuff, and I think that is really neat. When I saw the belts go up for Nats last year, I was like, woo, let's go.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So, is there, as we wrap this up, is there anything you want to play, or want to say, shout out?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be playing if it weren't for this community. I played competitive Yu-Gi-Oh for almost 15 years, burned out from that, wanted something else, and if this community weren't so welcoming and like made it so simple to like, this is the only other game I've learned the rules to. Like I don't know the rules to any other card game, and I didn't think I could learn them. But going to like the demo days in Fairfax and having the TOs, Kevin and Rob from Gaming Giant in Virginia, just teach me the rules and be so patient with me and everyone else, all the other new players. Like if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be here today. Like it's literally just such a wholesome like crowd of people, and in that like Rob, tabletop, he's doing a stream for charity for St. Jude. So they've been doing that for about a month now, and links are in Twitch chat or on Facebook or whatever for that. But if you want to donate to that, or you feel compelled to watch him play some games, he's a great man and doing a good thing. So definitely support him.
Links will be under the video.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us. Congratulations.
Yeah. Hey, thank you
on
so
top
much.
4. Yeah. We appreciate you so much, man. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
What's up, everybody? This is James at Response on Play. We're here with
TC Devartanian.
and we're doing some top 4 interviews. TC, congrats on top 4.
Thank you.
How was the event for you? How was your Swiss? Anything specific throughout the day that kind of stuck out that you had trouble with, or that you want to highlight? I guess before we get into that, what did you play?
Oh yeah, okay. So I played Air Nick Reagan.
Okay. Yeah. I heard a lot about the Air Nick Reagan. I think a lot of the Let's Talk guys were running.
Yeah, I brought it into the team actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'm the reason why everyone was playing it.
Okay. So what's different in that deck compared to? I think Nick usually runs it on all.
Yeah. So the all deck, like you'll commonly see like the staples will be like Besiege, the Shu 100, like is really the most important one. You'll see Patchwork Baby. Right. It's playing just a lot of quality attacks that just become large, right?
Right.
And they just have to, and they just draw their attack. They just have to draw it and then string out, right? That's the idea with the all Nick Reagan, and it's pretty strong. Like it's very.
Yeah, it's just like it's a ton of stats.
Everyone is prepped for it essentially. It's that strong where everyone has to prep for it. The Air Nick Reagan is different. It's still putting 2/2 stats on and pumping a little bit of damage. Some of the attacks add a couple stat points, like up to usually like 3-ish.
Right.
And then its game plan is to just play an attack, clear an attack, and play another attack, and just keep doing that over and over again.
So it's more focused on the clearings. That way you don't have to like play on the progressive when you're.
Yeah, it clears, it builds, it's my version. It seals or freezes and commits because of Kraken, right?
Right.
It kind of just does everything you need, but the base core of it is you just play an attack, play another attack, clear first attack if you can. If you can't, play another attack that clears, and then just keep going. Just don't stop, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. So something I'm curious about. I played against actual Nick Reagan. His deck was 113. Yeah. How many cards are you running in your deck?
I was running 116. That was like the magic ratio number that the all was using, so I just stuck with it and I just kept. I just changed the cards, but I kept the ratio the same.
Okay. Awesome.
And it worked pretty well, like the ratio.
Yeah, that's crazy. I just like sat down with it. He's like shuffling it, and I'm trying to cut it and things like that. It's crazy.
I had to get some lessons from Carson on how to shuffle big decks.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. So what about Swiss? Anything stand out to you in your Swiss event?
Yeah. So I guess there were two things. The first one was when I went against first round of all the people. I go against Travis.
Lovely.
Yeah, so it was an interesting game. I ended up winning on against him. It was 2-0.
Okay.
But the manner in which I won was hilarious because I was joking with my team. I was like, watch, I'm gonna be on stream and I'm gonna forget to do a major enhance and I'm still gonna win. Like because like that happens like too often when you play the deck. And that ended up happening against Travis. I played Warpgate and I forgot to actually use it. And I just kept playing through it, and I just won, like on that turn anyway, so it didn't matter. And then at the end of it all, like I was also joking with the team. I'm like, some people are gonna get very, very annoyed when they lose to this, right? And for me, it was just hilarious because like no fault to Travis, he should be getting mad at this. He got like visibly frustrated, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was, but I mean, for me that was hilarious. To just go against that, like because his deck was really good too. Like his Rodan list, like I knew after I played it, I'm like I only won because of what Air Nick Reagan is doing. Right. Like I knew he was making top, and of course he made it. In fact, he made it even higher than me. He was placed third, I was placed fourth, which is hilarious. And then I had another really memorable match. I had a buddy from San Diego come by, like my local-ish area. Okay. I've been telling him for like 2 years, like come to these regionals because he's super good, right? So he comes, and he does really well. He was the other King Ghidorah player. And on round 7, we got paired into each other.
Oh, really?
And it was like the worst feeling because it was like the event that he finally comes to, it's like, oh, I'm so happy, but I'm the one that's knocking you out of top cut. Like it was so bad.
Oh no.
Yeah. So it was really memorable, but. My Swiss in general, like the games that I lost were to my mirror match. I didn't lose to any other character.
Really?
Yeah, in Swiss.
Okay.
Which is kind of what I expected from the testing that we were doing.
Right. How did your top 8 run go?
Yeah, so I went against Rainer 2 at first. I figured that match would be pretty easy because it's not geared to defend, and it requires too many turns to represent a lethal move against me.
Right, it's got a lot of things it's got to assemble.
Yeah, so usually like I was killing people on turn 2 or 3. Yeah. Like every Swiss game. Mm-hmm. So if you're just not going to be able to kill me until turn 4, like if you're giving me 4 turns, there's no way I'm not going to find it, right? To be able to just play everything. Although I almost lost game 2 by deck out. That was really interesting. I don't know how that happened again, but but I ended up taking down the Rainer 2. Awesome. And then we moved into top 4, which was against Andrew Porat. Mm-hmm. And it's hilarious because in testing, like me and Andrew test a lot, right? In testing, I never lose a set to Andrew's deck because I just play too many attacks. Like it doesn't matter. Like the Nonagon doesn't matter. I can play through it. Like it doesn't matter. The Shutdown is the best card that he has because it stops my Nick Reagan enhance. Because I rely a little bit more on my Nick Reagan enhance than other Nick Reagans. But so as long as I can kind of seal that one or deal with that one, then I can just keep going like nonstop. And I essentially stat check his hand. I'm like, do you have enough cards in hand to block?
Right, exactly.
But I ended up losing the game 1. The pressure got to me, and I just wasn't able to focus, and I missed like a lot of things. And afterwards, like I was thinking back on it, and like the judge told me, he's like, dude, the powerful 2 on the last attack you played from Nick Reagan enhanced killed him. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I didn't see that, right? Because I usually don't miss those, but I don't know, it was just tough. So I just deserved the loss there.
Yeah, I mean it's a long event, like all day yesterday, all day, like most of the day today. So like it happens. I mean, everybody misses stuff. It sucks, but like,
it just makes me stronger for next time.
Right, exactly. You gotta look out for it next time. Absolutely. Yeah. What did you think of the event overall? Like I know this one had a little bit more stuff going on than some of our previous regionals. What do you think about this one that compared to some of the previous ones?
Yeah. For me, the regionals kind of all feel similar. I think that they've been getting better on how they're being managed. I do see that. I do like the smoothness of the event moving forward. Right, that's like really important. So they've gotten a lot better at that. It's really nice. So it was just thoughts on events. Is that what you asked?
Yeah, pretty much. Just like because I know that I guess being top 4, you didn't get to experience a lot of it. There's a lot more like side events, and like we had like the cosplay contest and stuff like that.
On Friday, I was doing this.
Yeah, so there was like a bit more things for people that weren't necessarily competing in the event. I just was curious on your kind of thoughts about how the company seems to be moving toward more of a, hey, even if you're not here to compete competitively, we still got stuff for you. Like kind of what you think about that.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're not here, I don't know what you can do about not being here to get a feel for the event. But I mean, maybe they can add certain things in the whatchamacallit, not the prize wall, the redemption. Oh yeah. The point redemption, like maybe you can add some of the stuff that were here in point redemptions. That way, some people can get the stuff that were at events. That might be a way that they could help with that. But I mean, for me personally, I wish that they would have the like promos in the prize wall be like more relevant to the competitive side of the game.
More like meta cards.
Or like more meta relevant
staple cards at least.
Yeah, like it would be nice if when they're making promos that they would make them more towards the competitive side rather than just the visual look for collecting, right? Gotcha. So that you can see more than being played. More being played, and like it's more worth to buy them off the prize wall.
Right.
So for me, I think that would be really cool if they had stuff like that. But I mean, other than that, like it's enjoyable. Like I love the competition. I just wish that I was able to play in side events and the main event, but there's not enough time for that.
Yeah, that's fair. Awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate your time. Again, congrats on the top 4.
Thank you.
And thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
What's up, guys? Response on Play back with more interviews. Top Cut finalist
Travis Tangeman, you guys already know.
What deck did you end up playing today?
So I ended up playing Void Rodan. I really love playing defensive minus speed characters and just kind of walling people out. I'm a hard control player at heart, and so Rodan is just like a shoe-in for me.
Yeah, Rodan, very, very, very defensive. I heard you had quite a long game in the finals against Andrew Porat's Ghidorah.
Yes, I sure did. If I could describe this entire event, honestly, my entire event run just in general, it would have to be just one more sweeping, please. Just like I'm playing this like $180 playset in my deck, and I draw maybe one of them a match.
No, Sweeping Daggers, totally not busted. Not a great card.
Yeah.
So you'd say sweeping is one of your biggest offensive tools. Did you have anything that felt kind of like in the same vein on defense, where you felt like if you didn't see it, you were kind of at a spot?
Oh, easily Barrier Shield. Barrier Shield is just broken. That card is probably one of the better, if not the best, actions they've ever printed. It is so multi-purpose too, because like there were several times this weekend where I was just like, well, I don't care about blocking this, or I can block this naturally just with my minus speed, so I'll just stop drawing. Like against Carson, I was like, hey, stop drawing. Now, I lost that game, mind you, but it was still very good, and if I didn't check bad, it would have been even better. He also had a crazy heads-up play by blinking out my foundation with Infiltration on the last one to stop me from blocking with exactly the 4-low block that ends his turn. It was crazy.
That's incredible insight.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your run to the finals? Take me to day one. How were you feeling at the beginning, and how did that contradict anything with how you felt at the end?
Yes, absolutely. So I played against TC playing Air Nick in the first round, and it was one of the most miserable matches of Universus I've ever played. Not because I was playing against TC, but because he attacked me 9 times on turn 3 through a breaker 2 and a breaker 4, and I blocked 8 of them. And I still died. It was disgusting. So please, UVS Games, ban that character, hit that character, do something to it. I don't care, just do something. So that's how my day started. And I felt miserable right out the gate. I was like, I don't know why I'm here, whatever. You know, the usual crash out after you have a terrible game of Universus. But I kind of brought it back. I had to play against my teammate Justin in round 3, which sucked. And then I also had to play against Wub for my win-in, which was also very bad. So I had to team kill 2 people.
That's pretty unfortunate, but I feel like MGLA is one of those teams where you guys you've always got people in top cuts.
Correct. Yes.
So it almost feels unavoidable. Just if you are all going to be as good at the game as you are.
Yes.
How do you feel about VME getting hit before this event? Vertical maneuver equipment.
Yeah. So I have, and I feel like a lot of people share this probably like same opinion. If they were going to hit VME, they should have absolutely also hit Nick alongside it, because I was extremely confident in my Nick matchups, specifically the all-Nick deck. I played against Mitchell Chimino a lot, playing that deck, and Wub, and it was just like basically a free matchup every time for the Rodan deck, just because like Barrier Shield and then a billion breaker blocks, they'll either mill out or you will just kill them with sweepings because all their attacks are really good. So I had a really good matchup into that, and then I had tested a version of the air deck, and I was like, there's no way I'm taking this to an 8+ round event playing 8 2s and 4 1s in my deck. Because that's just like, that's a recipe for disaster. As you guys, I'm sure, probably saw in my Top Cuts match against Carson, he checked a 1 and actually just lost on the spot because of it.
Yes.
And then I also heard that TC in his Top Cuts match against Andrew also checked a 1 on his 4-diff and basically lost the game because of it.
Those were really rough to watch.
Yes. So like that is the deck building cost. Let that be known that there is a deck building cost to putting those cards in your deck. Obviously, it's like very nuts when you hit them off the top 8 with Nick and all that stuff, but you got to be aware of that, because you live by the one, you die by the one. But so they should have absolutely hit both. They needed to hit Nick and Devil Jin and also VME. All 3 of those needed to be hit, because that way the meta is a lot more healthy and you have reined in basically the best aggro deck and then also the best defensive decks, because the aggro decks were not playing VME for the most part. Like 90% of them were, and if you were playing like Godzilla or Nick or anything like that, you were not playing VME in your deck. It was basically a mid-ranger control tool. And if you were playing mid-range, you kind of needed that card because mid-range is in a terrible spot right now in our game.
Yeah, if it does feel like it's either one or the other, you either win within the first 2 turns or you kind of you win on turn like 32.
Correct. Yeah.
Is there any character you felt like you might see at this event that nobody was really talking about that you would have trouble with? Is there like some rogue pick you thought was going to show up in numbers?
Not in particular, I don't think. There was thinking about the rogue decks that were even playable, because that's another issue, is just by Nick existing and being what he is, you cannot play a rogue strategy unless your strategy is able to live his kill turn, which is a very volatile and potent kill turn, or kill the 33 health character if they decide to play a poke, draw 2 off Death from Above, build and pass, which there are not a lot of decks that can actually break that, like even a very minimal defense wall. So if your rogue deck can't do either of those things, it's not playable in the Nick-dominated format, and I think that's why we did not see a lot of rogue do well, especially compared to like recent events. So like if you look at like Nationals or like even Denver, like we had a Tarion in Top Cuts. We had 2 Tarions in Top Cuts at Denver. And then obviously Nationals, I won with Krista. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
You just cannot play not only a mid-range character, but a rogue deck into a deck that is that powerful. It's just, there is a very obvious power level difference, and it shows because I tried to play an updated version of my World's Krista deck into Nick, and I just got dumpstered. It was literally the freest thing ever for him. I just got walked over.
Which is pretty wild because your Krista list is very, very good.
Yes.
Give me a little bit of insight how you're thinking. You win game 1 against Andrew Porat. Sorry, and he ends up managing to win game 2, I believe.
So it was actually reversed. It was reversed. I lost game 1. He broke serve on me, and then game 2 I won.
There it is.
Yeah.
So you're going to game 3.
Yeah.
You guys have already been playing a long time.
Yeah.
How are you feeling going into that game 3? Is there any sideboard stuff that maybe you switch into help with? What are you thinking?
So
give me the game 3.
Yeah, my side was always the same from like game 1 to game 3. I believe it was the elasticities I brought in because he's a deck that's trying to block, and sometimes that just says I get to take a head for free if he blocks, and also Trigrab is a deadlock stun threat, so I can just cancel the deadlock stun. And then Nonagons, because obviously he's playing a lot of very impactful attacks that I want to take the card text off of. And then I also brought in the one-of size specialist and then the Ice Swords. So I brought in 9 of my 10 cards because they were all very good against him. Size Specialist, especially this weekend, I loved having that card in my deck.
Yeah.
So for those who are aware of Manly Passionate Guy, that card is essentially Manly Passionate Guy, but it gives you a card back. So like, I'll block with whatever foundation, build it down, I'll pick up this 3-mid block. I now have this 3-mid block, which I can utilize with Mikasa defeats the female Titan, which that interaction is also just crazy. Being able to block with Mikasa defeats, respond, build it down, respond, flip it. I omni-blocked, and I have 0 prog, so basically you didn't accomplish anything. I'm a huge fan.
That's pretty incredible, actually. That's quite a tech.
Yes, it was very, very awesome. I did it a few times. It was just very cool every time.
How'd you enjoy the event as a whole? Like, is there I know you spent most of it obviously slugging out.
Yes.
You didn't get to play any side events. But how did you feel about the Albuquerque New Mexico regional?
I was a huge fan of the event. I was not a huge fan of the meta. So I think the venue and all the vendors were awesome. I'm glad that we have like multiple vendors so people can go see like different inventories and different like pricing and all that kind of stuff. That was very cool. I think the prize wall substantially better than before. The new top cut system for prize wall also substantially better than before. However, there was a glaring issue that arose in specifically top cuts, and I hope we never do this again. I had to wait, I believe it was like an hour and a half for the other top 4 match to finish before I could go on to finals because they wanted to stream both top 4 matches separately. And I hope we never do that again because that actually killed my ability to play in teams, which was an event that I was very much looking forward to because I wanted to play with AOT cards this weekend.
Sure.
Like, obviously, there's so much AOT product here. I got probably a case and a half this weekend that I wanted to play with these cards that outside of like a casual environment. So I wanted to play in teams, didn't get to do that. And then also I had to wait an extra 3 hours to obviously play the match. And if we had been able to do that, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours earlier, I might have been able to play in teams. So that really sucked, and I just hope we never do that again.
So if they were to stream more of Top Cut, more doing it at the same time or like better consistency for the streaming.
Yeah, like I understand that probably logistically it's a little hard to do multiple Top Cuts matches with only one setup, but like the fact that we just tacked on basically 2 hours for no like real reason, at least from a player perspective. Obviously, I'm sure the people at UVS have the reasons for doing it, but from a player perspective, it just looks like we tacked on 2 hours to the event when I could have been doing something else for no real reason.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a very valid criticism because I mean nobody wants to wait to play into their next match.
Yes.
So if the event was good. Is there anything that you would like to change outside of that about the event? Is there anything that like you saw that maybe you wish they'd do a little bit better? Maybe something you thought maybe they did great that you wish they would continue doing or like amp up?
So I think side events starting at like 4 o'clock on day 1 is probably a little grief for most people. Like, I understand they want to wait until some people drop, but usually the people that want to drop are probably doing it around like round 3, right? And like, I think we could be starting these side events at like 1 or 2 o'clock so people just aren't sitting waiting around doing nothing until the side events start.
Or maybe something potentially a stopgap, something else that they could be doing in between.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like there could be more to see if you're pushing those numbers back. But so that's been our time with Travis TNT Tangeman. Is there anything you'd like to shout out? Anything you'd like to say on camera to the people at home in their cars or on the roof of a random building that you want people to hear?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Obviously, huge shout outs to my entire team. I love all of them. They're the greatest. MGLA best team for life. We are going to make sure that Louisville, Justin's home state, is going to be ours for sure. So expect to see an MGLA dominated Top Cut there. We are going to be putting a lot of work into making the most broken AOT decks you guys could even imagine. We're already working on stuff. I hope you guys are ready to get Colossus Detonation by Zeke on turn 3.
Perfect.
And then shout outs to Tito's Tabletop. He is running charity streams basically all like through this month, I think, for St. Jude. Make sure you guys go check that out, donate, watch the stream, do all that cool stuff. The MGLA is throwing a little bit in as well. Just really good cause and really important overall.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Yeah,
Congratulations. Absolutely. As always.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
What's up, Response on Players? We're back again with more top 4 interviews for the Albuquerque Regional. My name is James, and I'm here with your champion, back-to-back U.S. Regional winner, Andrew Porat. Man, how's it feel winning back-to-back?
Feels pretty not bad.
Yeah.
Winning both regionals in the U.S. was pretty cool. So I'm very happy. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's awesome getting to talk to you again. I mean, last time we talked about, your kind of rise up. You've been doing really well, but not quite making it in. Second place in Atlanta, and then now, of course, winning in Denver and then Albuquerque. That's awesome. Love to see what you've been to put together and what you've been able to do here. What'd you play for your winning?
So this time I was on King Ghidorah, and I played on the evil symbol.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So still
Yeah.
another kind of control style character because you were Rodan last time, right?
Yes, exactly. And I think what might be a little interesting is I think this was probably the worst I felt about a deck going into an event. Like I did I think I usually like I don't like track my win rate, but like
Mm-hmm.
you kind of like mentally know whether you're like winning most of your games or like losing most, you know what I mean? Like when you're
Right.
testing. And like I think the best I had ever felt was the St. Louis regional a long time ago, which was the
Okay.
first Godzilla regional. And I had a Rodan deck for that. And I was like, this deck was crazy and it was really good.
Yeah.
I came in first in Swiss. I didn't win at all in that one. Um, but this was the worst I had felt, and it was like I just wanted to play this character that I really enjoy. And I know people don't really like playing against Ghidorah, and I feel bad for them, but it's really fun to play and like kind of build the wall.
Right.
And, yeah, so like I was not like picking the best deck. I wasn't playing to win, so it was really cool that things kind of fell my way, and I got here.
Okay. Awesome. So
Yeah.
you didn't go into this with like, oh, this is the best deck. I think it's gonna beat everything. You're just kind of going to have fun, and the
Yeah,
chips kind of landed.
absolutely not. Like I would even say the worst matchup I think for Evil Ghidorah is Void Ghidorah, which is much more popular
Mm-hmm.
than Evil Ghidorah, and I know everybody like plays like there's always a lot of Ghidorah players, and so I was like actively going in like this is like dangerous waters with sharks, but I just wanted to play like Evil is my favorite symbol. Like if one day I'm ever able to get a character card, got to be Evil, and
Okay.
so like I had tried to make a deck very similar to this when Younger Toguro first came out, and so I had like this younger Toguro deck that was literally like the same shell, just doesn't have those like htey cards that are like +1 -1. The
Right.
exact same like shell of like attacks that don't really do much, and then and the character kind of like pushes some stats on that one. But on this one, it's like yeah. So I was very excited that it kind of like came together. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So take me a little bit behind the idea behind the deck. I know. Little bit of a spoiler for your finals. We kind of won those in a little bit of less conventional ways. What's the idea behind the deck? Is it just like the biggest wall you can find and eventually you get there, or like what are you trying to do with it?
Yeah, so, going into the event again, I wasn't like teching for like I customized the deck a little bit for the meta, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
course, but I wanted to play this evil deck. And the reason that it's kind of like the strategy is right, like I'm just going to build very deep. Like a lot of people who play this game will hold a lot of cards for blocking, make sure they have the right zones. They'll trip around deadlock. Maybe we'll go to 11 and destroy out. Like that.
Right.
That's not really how I like to play. And Ghidorah's if your opponent is not capturing every inch, you're gaining like with every turn that goes by a huge advantage in this type of deck. And so I wanted to play a deck that I could like stretch out the advantages and live a
Okay.
long time. So I played like I think 11 breaker blocks, and most of them are breaker two. And I also played 4 fighting for control, which says like when your opponent makes a check, -2 to the check. So I had like 15 cards that basically say like hey, you're gonna have a bad time.
Gotcha.
Mixed with yeah, like Ghidorah's very awkward health
Mm-hmm.
and and a little bit of damage reduction with like invincible body and he has the Hiei card or it's actually a Ghidorah card. It's -1/+1 damage and
Right.
there's a deflect 2 card. So it's like it's just annoying enough that like you get like super value over your opponent who's playing like a deck that's not built for like turn 6, turn 7, turn 8. Um and so that's the deck and
Gotcha.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, how'd your Swiss experience go? Was there any matchups that you had any trouble with, or was it kind of just the deck did exactly what it was supposed to? Was there anything you were worried about going through Swiss?
Yeah, so I think with Swiss, I got kind of like I think if it was supposed to be open deck list, but there was like an IT issue.
Right.
And so I got there was only one match that got really caught off guard, and that was against Void Ghidorah that was on a mill deck. And
Okay.
so he wasn't playing the usual attacks, and like that would have been a red flag to me if I looked at his list. But I didn't get to, right? So I was kind of like
Right.
finding it out in real time, like what's going on. And I think that's like tangent on, I think open deck lists are cool because it rewards people who like know the game, and like he was playing all these attacks that just milled me and like didn't actually like they weren't the ones like you're supposed to be like he wasn't playing like Patrick Baby, he wasn't playing like all these really ice sword or like really strong powerful like Ghidorah cards. And
Right.
so I kind of like didn't figure out until it was too late and like got milled.
Oh no, you did get
So
milled.
what was that?
I was saying so that he did end up milling you.
He did, he
Yeah.
did. Yeah, I even had like like I think we both realized I had more cards left in my deck.
hmm
And then he played like two of these cards that said like mill until you hit an attack, and that destroyed me.
Oh no.
So yeah, so the mill deck with not open deck list really got me off guard. Like if the deck lists were open, at least then I would have like maybe been able to play differently and like
Right.
and
Yeah. Kind of try to
try. But
counter a little
like
bit.
yeah. So that one got me for sure. Tripped me up.
I gotcha. Well, what about how'd your obviously you won, but how did your Top Cut experience go? What'd you play and kind of how did you get around
Yeah.
those matches?
But Top Cut was honestly the most relaxed and chill environment that I've ever seen in a tournament. And there's a few reasons for that. One is that top 8 and top 4, I played people who I practice with. They're on my team, the Let's
hmm
Talk UVS team. And so it's very, very, very nice when you're in a competitive environment playing against your friends, right? It's totally different experience than playing against somebody you've never met,
hmm
who it's just
Right.
different, right? And so top 8 played against Ross, who on the team, he was the Swiss champ. And I had told Ross before we sat down the night before, I said, "You're gonna win game 1, I'm gonna win game 2, and then we're gonna go all the way to sudden death, and I'm gonna win game 3 on sudden death because the rules are like not like there's like weird rules for health in sudden death for Ghidorah, and Ghidorah like always wins. Basically, is
Okay.
the conclusion." And I told him I was like, I'm just gonna like abuse this like rule cheat and get a win against you, and that was how I was gonna try to win, right? And then I don't know what happened. I think he just kind of like checked bad, and I somehow won like game
Okay.
1, and somehow won game 2. So I like stole some equity against Ross. Like I was fully expecting like I lose game 1, game 2, like going first, I should be fine. And then
hmm
game 3, I was just gonna like sudden death rules him.
Right.
Um, and then game 2 was against TC, who TC and I played a bunch, and I had never beaten TC in a set with this exact matchup. So, which is really funny, right? Because I won the one that counts.
Right. Exactly. That's the only one that
Yeah,
matters.
and honestly, I don't even know if I would say I won. It was more like he lost. Like
Yeah.
he just was like he wasn't he was tired, or he had like we had a really long like judge call because he accidentally used his character when his character was committed,
hmm
and it took like 15 minutes for them to figure out what the heck to do, because
Oh
this
my
is like
goodness.
unprecedented. Like it's not like oh, I saw one card by accident. It's like 8
8.
cards,
Yeah.
like so it's so yeah, like I think he just got a little flustered and was running low on sleep. Like we were all staying up late, and I went to sleep before him. They were all playing like Smash Bros and stuff. So yeah, night before. So I stole that against TC, and then Travis, he's one of the best players, so always fun to go up against
Oh
a
yeah.
beast like Travis. Um, I think he's also a really cool guy, just chill, like like very fun, enjoyable person to play against. So it was not stressful at all. I think he maybe at game one, like we played 3 games. It was 3 hours of Universus. It
Oh
was
my
very long.
goodness.
Game one, I don't know if he realized like um how like slow my deck was, and he may have, but it seemed like I had a little bit of an advantage because I kind of like knew like that I was probably gonna mill him, or
Right.
just like I didn't actually mill him. I did kill him and he scooped, but it
Mhm.
was basically a mill out. He had like 10 cards in his deck or something.
Gotcha.
But like I kind of knew that's how I was gonna beat Rodan, and I don't know if he knew that. And then game two, he kind of like made some adjustments, and honestly, I checked really bad on the early turns. And when I check bad early, it's tough for me because I like don't I'll be at like 6 foundations instead of like 20.
Right. Yeah, it makes a
uh,
difference.
yeah, game two he smoked me, and then game three was a good game, but I got to go first, and going first in this game is crazy.
Hmm.
So that was pretty much how it went. So it was quite long, but it was a fun game, and it was like I don't want to say it wasn't too bad, but it was kind of like a tough matchup for him when I was
Right.
going. Yeah, like like
Yeah.
he took like one Ghidorah head game three, and it was just because I kept every time he played sweeping daggers, I just took it because I was like, if they're in his momentum, like maybe he'll cycle and not be able to draw him.
Not get
So
more,
that was
yeah.
like my strategy against sweeping daggers was like like I think the commentators were a little confused, like because I watched the VOD, they were like,
Hmm.
why do you just like take these attacks? And it's like I only want to deal with as few of them as possible.
Right, right. Yeah,
So
if you
I
put him
I
in the
kinda, like,
momentum, you can't
kept
really
it.
get to him until you spend them,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was a top cut experience. It was awesome. Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds, it's very cool when you, like you said, you get to play against people that you know and you're like comfortable with, so then you're just kind of like playing the game. You're not like, super nervous going into, oh, I don't know these people and things like that. So that's a pretty cool that you got to have that experience, especially in Top Cuts.
Yeah, it can be super sweaty if you run into, like, a stranger and it's an important game, right? Like, um, I felt really bad in the round 7, like, I was playing to get in
Hmm.
against a guy who was a really nice guy, but, like, I said something to him, and he got, like, really nervous after I said that, and I was like, "Dude, I like, you didn't do anything wrong." I was just letting him know, like, he was, like, getting close to, like, breaking a rule,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "Don't do that anymore, or, like, we'll have to call a judge or whatever," and so I was like, "I don't really care." But like, I saw him, like, get anxious, and so I felt, like, terrible
Oh
the whole
no.
because like, it was an important match, we
Right.
both, come here to play the game to try to make top cuts, and so, like, that environment is not as fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that makes perfect sense. Um, I know that you kind of had to leave the event a little bit expeditiously
Yeah.
after your match was over, but overall regional experience, I know this one had a little bit more going on in terms of like side events and more kind of things to do if you weren't actually in the event itself. Did you get to see any of that, or was there any of that that you um, kind of wanted to highlight as like a good thing, or was there something you'd change about the event?
Yeah, I think the good things were they had promos of Airship, which is a super meta relevant card, and
Yeah.
so when you and the new, like, I think it's called Return to Normalcy,
Yep.
um, 2, like, super meta relevant cards, like, that's awesome because, um, like, I wish the champion promos were better relevant. I mean, I think the one from Denver is, like, the one that builds in an ally, so that one's okay, like,
Oh,
there are
yeah.
decks that play it, but, like, I wish it was like, the cards that were the promos, like, that would be cooler. So I think that was, like, a nice plus, but in terms of changes, like, I really think to elevate these events, they should just have a projector and put the stream match on, so when people finish their games, they can all kinda congregate, watch whoever's on the stream, cheer for their friends, and just be there together and observe the game and cheer or not,
Right.
together. Like, that seems like they had that at nationals at least once or twice, and it was a banger because I was there watching with my friends. Like, oh, this is cool. So I really would appreciate that. I think that the teams event is really cool. And like I wish that they made like more of a thing out of it. You know,
Okay.
like
Okay.
it would be really cool if there was more of like incentive for when, like I think they had the belt
Hmm.
for one event, and like something like you pass around the belt, or I don't know, like it'd be quite cool if there was like, you know, because right now teams is like everybody wants to play teams, but you just kind of like show up and you're like, hey, you want to be on my team? But if it was like, hey, there's a reason to like practice, or like, you know, come in with your team, and like, like there was like a top cut for teams or something, that would be insane. That would be really cool. So, I don't know how to do all of this right in like, you know, a weekend, but I think that would be, another way to elevate the experience is like taking one of these kind of like events, or doing like a triple threat, like tournament that's like for a real prize, and like streaming it or something
Okay.
like that would be like, you know what I mean, just like
Yeah.
making the side events like, I understand some of them are there for people who want to grind and get prize walls and tickets, but for like making some of the side events a little bit more competitive and feel like they matter, it would be, I think, a really nice touch.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I definitely have heard a few people talk about, the stream match being up on the on like a projector or something like that. And I know we've heard a few things about like round timers being a thing as well. So definitely hope we see some positive changes going forward.
Yeah, I personally have like, I don't understand how people complain about the timer situation, because I just put it on my phone and I'm
Hmm.
like the only person it seems like who does this. I don't know, like, guys, just use your phone has a timer on it if you have an iPhone, like, or
Right.
Android, right? I just put on the timer and then I can check like very easy. You know,
Yeah.
so like I never got that one personally, like why people don't do that, but
Hmm.
like just do that. Yeah,
That's
or don't
fair.
complain. It's fine. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Hey,
Solvable to me. That one seems like solvable.
that's fair. All right. Well, hey, I do appreciate you talking to us. Was there anything else you wanted to say or anybody you wanted to shout out?
No, shout out you guys. I think your content has been really funny, like exponentially getting funnier too. So I really appreciate the personality and the originality of the shorts and stuff like that. And so I'd be really curious to hear like, if you guys have any new plans or ideas on how you're gonna like continue to exponentially improve your, you know, content. But I think you guys have, you know, I remember at first when I just kind of like came across some of your videos and I was like, oh, they're cool, and now they're like must watch, you know. Because they're funny, man. They're
Yeah.
funny. And so, yeah, shout out to you guys for really bringing it. And and then I'll also give a shout out to the team. You know, Let's Talk UVS team. They were really helpful. Like, um, can't really like get better at this game unless you practice. And if you're
Yeah.
practicing with people who are, you know, also practicing a lot, you're gonna improve your chances a little bit more. So like, shout out to them for helping me improve my deck and practice. And yeah, that that'll do it.
Perfect. Hey, well, thanks again. Thanks again for taking the time to talk to us. This has been Response on Play with the Albuquerque regional winner, Andrew Porat. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.